This is G.I. Joe Fan 2001 with a new video. Just recently, my video about my Canadian Sonic Dreamcast hit 102 views, with Part 2 hitting 21, and the cast revision video hitting 12, with a total of 135 views. So I thought I would talk about some, but not all of the casting choices and why I did so. So let's begin. I think this is who they'll most likely cast as the main character in Sonic Prime. So, if you still want a new Sonic voice, then maybe Prime is the place to be. I decided to have more than one Canadian voice option for the main character, one other choice being Andrew Francis. Another option is someone who has previously voiced Sonic, that being Samuel Vincent, who provided the character's singing voice in Sonic Underground. And fun fact, Vincent's singing voice is the lowest voted Sonic voice, even lower than Megan Glima. So I don't see why you would have a person who gave the main character a whiny singing voice to return to voice said character. Yeah, I thought his singing voice was whiny. It's kind of why I like to compare Sonic Underground to grunge music. They both have whiny singing voices. And if he does return to voice Sonic, I don't know if the audience will take the character seriously or will find the voice to be too distracting. Not to say I don't want Sam Vincent in Sonic Prime anyway. It's just that his singing voice for Sonic is kind of a shame when compared to his other voice roles. And finally, there's this person who we have never heard before named Jason Dean. And not much is known about him, so we don't even know if he exists. And I've seen someone say this on a comment section on a video a while back, and I'll say it right here. If Kirby Morrow was still alive, he would have made a great Sonic. Colleen O'Shaughnessy's tweet saying that she would not be voicing Tails in Sonic Prime due to the fact that she isn't Canadian kind of started this whole idea of having an entirely Canadian Sonic fan cast. Which makes sense, since if your show is animated in Canada, you might as well get voice actors from Canada. And I feel that there's only one Canadian voice actress that could voice Tails, that being Jillian Michaels, an actress that is noted for her boy voices as said in a video in a link down below. And some of her voices sound similar to Colleen as well as her Tails predecessor, Kate Higgins. But some of you may be asking, why can't they make special accommodations for Colleen O'Shaughnessy? Well, it's because she doesn't have a lot of notoriety. Other than being the longest English voice actor for Tails, and that's not much. I didn't know that my choice for Amy appeared in the movie. I felt that Shannon's voice sounded like a mix of Amy's previous actors. And there are some people who would choose Kelly Metzger, my choice for Bella Tinker, to voice Amy. So to each your own. Conveniently, my choice for Amy is also my choice for Whisper. I know that this last name will cause some confusion as Sonic's first English video game voice actor has the same last name. And it gets even more confusing since Ryan voiced Knuckles in Sonic Shuffle. And Brian Drummond, the voice of Vegeta in the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, already voiced Knuckles in Sonic Underground. I chose Brian because of his voices and how I feel that they work for Knuckles' personality. Think about it. The voices by Brian Drummond range from mellow to aggressive. And I feel that most of us are tired of the current voice of Knuckles and want the next voice to sound like Scott Trier. In short, I didn't choose Brian Drummond because he previously voiced Knuckles, but rather because his voices fit Knuckles. And I feel that Brian Drummond returning as Knuckles is more likely than Sam Vincent returning as Sonic. The video I used for inspiration for my Canadian Dreamcast had this role in mind. And I really didn't bother too much with my Canadian choice for Eggman because I feel that Mike Pollock will be the only American in this cast. But if I was to choose another Canadian option, I would go with Mark Oliver, who would also work well as Professor Joe Robotnik. Finding a Canadian voice actor for Shadow is quite difficult. The only options I took into consideration were Matt Hill, my first choice, Samuel Vincent, the Dobson brothers, Rita Romano, and finally my new choice, Brad Swale. The current choice could also work for Sonic, and maybe he will voice both Sonic and Shadow, similar to what Jason Griffith did for both characters. Another woman named Kathleen voicing Rouge, I know, but Barr's voice for Galora mixed in with Misako just works so well for Rouge. And this wouldn't be the first time that Kathleen Barr has voiced a bat. What I mean by that is that she did some voiceover work for an animated adaptation of the children's book Stella Luna, an adaptation I never heard before. Do know the book though. Some want Richard Ian Cox to voice Sonic while others want him to voice Knuckles. but I personally think it would work well as Silver. It works as his voices give off a sense of naivety for a character with a strong sense of justice. And it sounds in line with Quinn Flynn and Bryce Poppenbrook. It is hard to find a Canadian voice actress for Blaze, let alone find someone that sounds close to Erica Schroeder. So, I'm going with Kelly Sheridan for now. Other options include Charazani, Britt McKillop, Rebecca Shoichet, and Lisa Mbele, the latter being my choice for Nicole. There are a lot of voice roles done by Tabitha St. Germain that made me choose her to voice Marine, but the characters that she's voiced have a lot of things in common. Firstly, some of them have accents, perfect for a character who is depicted to have an Australian accent. Secondly, St. Germain has also voiced various young girl characters, and thirdly, they can be annoying while also being cute. I'm still undecided for my Canadian option for Vector. The other options are Brian Dobson, Terry Klassen, and Jason Simpson. Espio is depicted to have a deep voice. Tag Cole gave Android 17 in the Ocean Dove Dragon Ball Z a deep voice. And Cole has also voiced another detective character, that being Tadashi Keaton from the Master Keaton series. So these two roles are quite fitting, though Brian Drummond could work as well. I keep deciding between Ashley Ball and Jillian Michaels as my Canadian option for Charmy. And there is also Kathy Westluck. I could see it going either way. As Radical Soda said in his Sonic voice actors video, anyone can voice Big the Cat. He's probably the easiest Sonic character to impersonate. Even so, I had a hard time looking for a Canadian voice option for Big. I first went with David Kay, shortly followed by Pierre New, and now Ty Olsson. Someone recommended that Claire Corlett, Ian James Corlett's daughter, should voice Cream. I need to listen to more of Claire Corlett's roles before I can make a judgment. But I feel that Andrea Libman's My Little Pony voices fit Cream, and that's why I chose her. This one is less about the character and more about the cast. If you haven't figured it out by now, a lot of the choices were inspired by roles from Hoggle's World Race and its continuation, Hoggle's Excel Racers. And yes, I do have a bias towards it. I feel that Sonic Prime will have a similar tone to things like Excel Racers and Ben 10, the latter being created by the same writing force behind Sonic Prime. But I felt that Turzo had some emotion in her voice, which works for Dakal, though I'm still undecided. With how much I talked about him, it was inevitable that I would find a role for Sam Vincent in Sonic Prime, that being Ray the Flying Squirrel. Sam Vincent may have done some voice roles in various anime dubs, but he's more known for playing light-hearted and scatterbrained characters. Ray is certainly the type of character that he would play. I went with Double D as it's his most iconic role along with Amigo Bear. A character with a Spanish accent, as this could come in handy if Ray and Maya were to be given Spanish accents. I needed a reason for Period Calamus to appear in Sonic Prime. And I feel his take on Goku could work well for Mighty, as his take makes Goku sound strong but kind-hearted. And this could work well for Mighty. And that concludes why I chose these Canadian voice actors to voice these characters. The next video may be a part 3 on my Canadian Dreamcast, or if you explain the choices I made in part 2. Until then, this is G.I. Joe Fan 2001, wishing you stay safe, and I'll see you soon.